Hello everybody, welcome back to Jared Opens a Box here on Jared Takes the L, and I have another great episode for you guys here today. As I mentioned last week, we are finally doing the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 video here. I know that was all the way back in July, but I just had a lot of other things that were kind of coming before that one, but now we're finally doing it, and we have a great lineup this year. Both Comic-Cons, like both of the major Comic-Cons, San Diego and New York, had incredible lineups of pops this year. I really enjoyed San Diego's lineup, especially. So we have 5 pops for you guys here today. The first one that we're going to be looking at actually doesn't have a box. There was a, what do you say, an incident between the box for this one and one of the cats. So we unfortunately don't have the box, but thankfully the figure itself is safe. So I guess we'll just start with that one since it's the only one that is a out-of-box one. But this one is pretty cool. Earlier this year for WonderCon, we had the Suicune pop from Pokemon, so it made sense that Funko would continue making the other 2 that are associated with Suicune. We have Entei. So this one, I don't know the number, or I know it's part of Pop Games, but I don't know the number or anything. But this one came out looking really nice. I think they did a great job with the face. Honestly, the details on this one are just incredible. They did a really good job with this pop. I just wish, the thing is, I just wish they would stop doing 10-inch pops because I'm really running out of room. Like, I'll be honest, I haven't even gotten Raikou yet from New York Comic Con. I don't know when or if that's going to happen just because I don't really have much room for any more 10-inch pops at the moment. But I did get this one at least, and it looks really cool. So I think they did a good job with Entei. And now I guess we'll move on to the ones that are actually in the boxes. But yeah, this one's cool. I don't even know where to put it. I guess we'll sit back here. So many of them. All right. So our first in-box pop for today's video is actually from DC. Of course, last week we did Batman Beyond. Now we're just going back to normal Batman. So that's actually, yeah, it's just Batman. I don't know exactly. I think on the website it said this was from like the Kingdom Come series or something, like that comic book series. But this is Pop Heroes number 569. Here is the San Diego Comic-Con sticker this year. It's purple and yellow, and of course also has that Funko sticker, the new QR code one, that's supposed to kind of show how legitimate the figure is or something like that. But yeah, here's the box for this one. Looks like they just used the basic DC Batman box. There's nothing special there. Does have the DC logo all over it though, so that's kind of cool. This one was exclusive to Target. It was shared to Target, as well as being, of course, exclusive to the online store, Funko's online store. Ooh, this one's actually pretty cool. So here is this version of Batman. This one actually looks really cool. So kind of like that Armored Bruce one we had last week, he does have a helmet instead of just the traditional mask. So you can definitely see that there. Just a little bit of skin poking out there, but the rest of it's completely covered in this Batman helmet. The suit is incredible. I mean, look at the details on that suit. So again, he kind of has this, this detail right here that looks very similar to what Armored Bruce had. And then, of course, has this silver armor. It does have a utility belt there as well. The wings, or I guess the cape, whatever you want to call it, also looks like it is kind of part of the armor as well. Even has this thing on the back. It looks really cool, honestly. I think this is a really cool figure. I guess, it is just Batman, but it is a slightly different interpretation of the character. So I do think this one came out looking really good. So yeah, there is Batman. And our next one, we're going to Marvel Comics now. With a character that has not received a pop at all before. Probably one of the more iconic X-Men villains, I guess you could say. And we've done a lot of X-Men pops recently on the channel since X-Men's kind of been getting more and more popular over time. But we have Onslaught. So yeah, this is cool. I finally got a pop of this guy. So he's pop number 1503 of the Marvel line. Again, he does of course have the stickers. Box for this one also is the same one they used for all of the other X-Men pops. And this one also was limited, I believe, to a certain number of pieces. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a little bit harder to find. compared to the other ones, and it was also only available on Funko Shop. But thankfully we got him, so I was pretty happy about this one. And also this one reminds me of, because I think he was the main villain in Marvel vs. Capcom, the original one, if I remember correctly. He was the main villain in that one. So that's mainly what I remember him from. But I know he also has been in the comics as kind of, you know, a major villain for the X-Men, since he's pretty powerful. But yeah, here's a look at Onslaught. Of course, the first thing I notice off the bat is that the colors are very, very similar to that of Magneto's. The helmet also incredibly similar to Magneto's helmet. Seriously, there's really not much different between that one and Magneto's. I could compare it to some of the ones I have of that character. Of course, the biggest difference being that it's not Magneto under the helmet. It just kind of looks like this void underneath with the glowing white eyes. And then, of course, we have the suit, which also is kind of similar to Magneto's, you know, has similar colors. Doesn't really have a cape. It has whatever this is. I'm not entirely sure what that is in the back there. But I believe Onslaught, I know Onslaught has something to do with Professor X. It's like a combination of Professor X and somebody else. I know there was a comic that had it be Red Skull was involved. That was part of the Access storyline that they were doing. But I don't think that's traditionally how he operates. But this one, seriously, came out looking really good. It's incredibly accurate to the character. I think Funko did a phenomenal job with this one. I really like it. I really do. I think that this was definitely one that was kind of a long time coming, and I'm surprised they hadn't made one. At least as far as I'm aware, this is the first Onslaught pop they've ever made. So I thought that was really cool. All right, moving on to our next pop here. Interesting choice for the convention. Especially since, as far as I'm aware, this character has never actually existed, or at least this version of the character. But we have a pop from Sonic the Hedgehog here, and this one is Buccaneer Shadow. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to do some research on this one. I couldn't find anything. I didn't see, there was like a similar character that was in the Sonic Forces mobile game, but it wasn't quite this, and it had a different name too. So I'm not entirely sure. This might just be a completely made-up thing for the Comic-Con. I think there was kind of like a pirate theme or something for that convention. But nonetheless, this is Pop Games number 1079. Of course, there are the stickers. Uses the usual Sonic the Hedgehog box for this one. Let's see just what in the world this one is. This one also hit stores early. I actually found this before the convention even happened. It was shared with Target, and some Targets were putting them out. I happened to go to one, and they had one left. Summer actually pointed it out. It was hiding behind some other pops. And they actually let us buy it. So I thought that was crazy, because I know sometimes things are street dated, but this one was not. But here we go, Buccaneer Shadow. So yeah, this one's interesting. I don't have anything to base this off of, so it's kind of just, you know, so he has this pirate's hat, so that's fun. He does have an eye patch, but there's no, it's not connected to anything. It's just covering his eye, but there's no, you know, there's nothing connecting it to anything. The pirate's hat's kind of cool. You can see it go over his spikes there, so I think that's pretty funny. And then, of course, he has this outfit on, which is also pretty cool. It's kind of, I guess, traditional pirate attire. I don't know exactly what to call it there. And even the shoes are like a pirate-themed version of Shadow's normal shoes, so I think that's kind of fun. But yeah, just an interesting choice, you know, like out of all of the Sonic characters that they could have done for the convention, they end up doing a pirate version of Shadow. So I just thought that was interesting. I guess they, you know, Shadow was fairly popular from the movie last year and everything, so I guess they were just trying to cash in on that popularity one last time. But yeah, so here's Buccaneer Shadow. Pretty cool pop. And then we're moving on to our last one for the video here. I thought this was really cool because it's been a little while since I think we've had an exclusive from this. We have a SpongeBob SquarePants pop here. This one is actually a pop premium, so it's a little bit bigger than the traditional pop. We have SpongeBob Cleaning. This is, of course, from the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick have to take care of a baby clam. SpongeBob is kind of doing everything. Patrick goes to work, which is literally just under his rock and watching television. So this is actually from that episode, probably one of the more iconic scenes from those earlier seasons. But this is pop animation number 2001. So yes, they have hit the 2000s in the animation line. And the box is, of course, similar to the other SpongeBob boxes. It has the 25th anniversary pops on the back there, which we looked at last year, probably around the same time, actually. Yeah, this one's definitely a bigger pop. Oh, this one's cool. All right. So here is SpongeBob cleaning. This one is so funny. So here is the little clam right here, of course, all swaddled up. And then he has what looks to be an iron, a frying pan, a pair of underwear that he's hanging up on a clothesline. Looks like some sort of spray, and then also a little rag there as well. So this is really funny. Of course, in that, obviously, SpongeBob does not actually have... well, he does, yeah. Because it's kind of showing in the show, like, oh, he has to do all of this. He's trying to multitask, you know, having to do everything. So he has 6 different arms doing a different task each, which I thought was really, really funny. They even got the face down, too. I thought that's really fun, because, you know, obviously, because I think they have multiple different scenes where he's doing the exact same thing, and his face, like, gets droopier and droopier as the days go on. So Funko did a good job of kind of doing that. They even gave him, like, the little bags under his eyes and everything. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool detail there on that one. But yeah, I guess that's it for the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 pops. Honestly, like I said, pretty good lineup. We had some interesting choices, I suppose, in some regards, but I think all of them are really, really cool, so I'll just go ahead and give them all a 10 out of 10. They're all accurate. Like I said, Buccaneer Shadow doesn't really have anything to base off of, but it's still cool, I guess, and it's a fun idea. But yeah, I guess that's going to do it for today, guys. Let me know down below which of these were your favorites. I'll go through them one more time. So we have Entei, we have Batman, we have Onslaught, we have Buccaneer Shadow, and we have SpongeBob cleaning. So let me know down below which of these San Diego pops were your favorites. I'll be very interested to see what we get next year for the Comic-Con. But we do still, of course, have one more to go, and that will happen before the end of the year, so I am looking forward to that. But before we get there, next week, if you were a fan of Buccaneer Shadow and all things Sonic the Hedgehog, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for next week's video where we take a look at some new pops from the series. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, guys. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.